Maria, we're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week presented by Wendy's, and we welcome you to the 2019 Play for K, honoring the K-Yow Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation to bring awareness and support for women's cancer research. And we come from an absolutely awesome atmosphere. Gill Coliseum is the site tonight for Rivalry Round 2 of the weekend between Oregon and Oregon State. So the Ducks move up to number 2 in the country after Louisville's loss yesterday. They stay solidly on the 1 line, hoping to host up in Portland. Meanwhile, Oregon State currently sitting at a 4 seed, but Charlie Creme says a win tonight bolsters them up to the 3 line. Thanks so much for the hospitality, Corvallis, and we get to hang out in venerable Gill Coliseum. Adam Amin, Carol Lawson, Courtney Lyle is with us tonight as well. And when we talk Oregon Duck basketball over the last 3 years, as talented and as deep and as great as their offense is and can be, one name sticks out, and that's Sabrina Ionescu.
She's on the short list for National Player of the Year. This Oregon team might be the best team in the country, and she's leading the way with her competitive will. That's what I love the most about Sabrina Ionescu. She has all the goods on the offensive end of the floor. You cannot stop her from having an impact. What's terrific in their win Friday night against Oregon State in Eugene. Mixes it up, is able to read off those ball screens, and she's somebody that just hates to lose, and she's going to find a way to get her Ducks a win.
And Courtney, it's always a tough defensive assignment for any team, especially one as good as Scott Rueck's team is.
Yeah, Adam, Coach Rueck was very straightforward with his team at shoot-around today. He stopped practice and said, no one who has ever cut down nets for me has stepped on this court afraid. He said, we are coming to dominate for 40 minutes. And then he asked them, do you want to win this basketball game? You don't need me to remind you of that. Go out there and dominate.
Yeah, he was staring at Destiny Slocum, the first-year point guard for Oregon State, when he was stating a lot of those things he was talking about in practice today. The Ducks are in the white jerseys for this Play for K game. Oregon State, the home team, is in the pink, and the Ducks start with the ball. And it's Ionescu getting on the board, picking up right where she left off in Eugene on Friday.
Right off the bat, changing speeds, manipulating the post defender to go back to her player, and then gets it in for the layup.
Here is the 6'8" senior Joanna Grimick, who had a really impactful game on Friday night.
Oregon decides to switch that screen, which puts a smaller player on Grimick, and Grimick takes advantage.
Satu Sabali double-teamed. Slocum out on Ionescu, who takes her into the paint.
Are you not entertained?
You want to talk about fearless with a high skill set, high motor. That is Sabrina Ionescu. Michaela Pivac out to Slocum. Those are the 2 leading scorers for Oregon State. Slocum, the transfer from Maryland, who's having a dynamite first year with the Beavers. Tried to rescue that one into the backcourt. It is over and back. Kelly Graves has not won at Gill Coliseum. He's got bad memories of this place. When Kelly was a player himself at New Mexico playing for Gary Colson, his final collegiate game came against Oregon State. Gary Payton and Eric Knox, who's now a preacher in Portland and is a girls basketball coach, hit a game-winning 3 to beat New Mexico in Kelly Graves' final collegiate game. So he doesn't have great memories of Oregon State, and the record shows. Pivac looking for the taller Grimick, and out of bounds to the Ducks.
I like the idea, just a little bit too tall. And Grimick coming off one of her better performances of the season, playing with a lot of confidence right now. I mean, was basically a practice dummy for Marie Gulich last year.
Yep.
And has really improved.
Gulich, the number 12 pick by the Phoenix Mercury in last year's WNBA draft. First foul against the Beavers goes against Destiny Slocum, her first.
Quick substitution, get her out. I don't know if Rueck is disappointed or he doesn't want Slocum to pick up a second foul here early.
Especially if she is going to keep guarding Ionescu, who set up Ruthie Hebert for the jumper. So Aaliyah Goodman, who's a very capable point guard in her own right, is on the floor, the sophomore out of Milwaukee, Oregon. Oregon State, if they wanted to, could run 3 point guards out there at once. I'm going to say last touch by Grimmick there. The crowd naturally thinking it was Hebard last to touch. I thought it touched Grimmick last. If it did touch Hebard, she was the first to touch before Grimmick made contact. Maite Cazorla, the veteran guard, watched by Taya Corsdale. And a foul on Corsdale, the sophomore.
So 2 fouls of the same variety, right? A little bit of extra physical play, hand checking, and Ruick obviously doesn't like it. There's Boley with a clean look, and that's something that Kelly Graves told us before the game. He wanted to get her a couple clean looks. Didn't feel like she got enough clean looks in their game Friday night against Eugene. And Adam, when she gets a clean look, she is absolutely money.
She only took 2 shots on Friday in Eugene. Get a duck foul here.
She can really shoot it. I mean, just knock it down. And playing with more and more confidence. Also improved a bunch as a defender this season.
Good answer there by Aaliyah Goodman-Court.
Erin Boley, and we were talking to Coach before this game, and he said she's a perfect fit for our system. She's one that doesn't have to have the ball all the time. She can just go shoot. And he pointed out the Washington game. Guys, she had over 30 points in that game, took 7 dribbles.
Very Klay Thompson-like night. Kelly Graves was quick to use that NBA comparison with Boley to transfer from Notre Dame.
Yeah, and only 4 of her dribbles were in scoring territory that game. I mean, 3 of them were in the backcourt. I mean, that's what she is. Catch and shoot, catch and shoot.
Pivick, great in the open floor for Oregon State. That is a difference from last year to this year with Slocum and the other 2 capable ball-handling guards for the Beavers. They play at a faster pace. Katie McWilliams, another one of those guards who can handle it, ties it at 7.
Well, you can see the difference between last year and this year. More guard-oriented, more guard-centric, guards with breakdown ability to be able to get 2 feet in the paint. Much more post-centered around Gulich a season ago.
Ionescu penetrates, finds Boley. Got a good clean look again. Grimmick with a nice rebound, shielding Hebard away. Buzz in the building for Beavers and Ducks tonight, round 2. Goodman, one of the best shooters in the Pac-12, can't connect. And last touch by the Ducks. Another chance for Scott Ruick's crew. They expected a sellout tonight. Record crowd came in the last 3 years against Stanford. It was over 9,600. I would imagine it's close to that tonight.
This is one of the great environments for women's basketball in the country. I mean, I know a lot of people on the East Coast probably haven't journeyed out to Corvallis. This place is incredible. The Coliseum has got that nice old feel of watching a basketball game, and the fans out here are terrific.
This is a barn, and I mean that in the best, most endearing, love of basketball type of way. This is a barn at Gill Coliseum, and it is awesome. Grimmick trying to post up. Good setup by Pivick for Goodman.
What a start for her. I mean, she only enters the game because Slocum picks up that quick foul, comes in and gives him a great lift.
45% career shooter. Cazorla misses. Beavers working with their first lead of the first half. Goodman settles it down.
Yeah, I like the screen here. Now force this switch, right? The 1-5 switch, and now you've got an opportunity to take advantage of the size.
They get a good look from Corisdale. Pivick last to touch. It'll go to Oregon. Both teams have led early. Well, the Oregon Ducks have drawn a lot of eyeballs over the course of the last 5 years with Kelly Graves and the last 3 seasons with Sabrina Ionescu at the controls. Kobe Bryant taking his family to a game when they were out in Los Angeles and then went into the locker room to meet some of the players and check out some of their shoes and sign them as well. LeBron James with a tweet in early February, a shout out to the Oregon squad. And the reason we show this to you is to talk about the growth of Oregon basketball. I mean, when Steph Curry calls you the walking triple-double, referring to Sabrina Ionescu, that is catching the attention of not just a lot of good NBA players. We're talking about the elite of the elite, and they're taking notice of what's happened for Oregon basketball the last 5 years.
Oh, it's incredible, the job that Kelly Graves has done, building this program into a national power, into a national championship contender. And that's what they are this season, on the shoulders of their All-American. And I think she's the National Player of the Year to this point.
I would vote for her right now, yes. Madison Washington gets a good look off the bench, the junior from Vegas for the Beavers. Ionescu has 6 triple-doubles this year, 16 for her career, by far the Division I record for men or women. And she'll get the friendly bounce on the road.
You'll see a lot of those mid-range jumpers for Sabrina Ionescu because they're running drop coverage all the way in the paint with the post player and going over the top. So what does that mean? That means that little mid-range jumper or floater is what's going to be available for her when she comes off the ball screen action.
Goodman off the curl. And a rebound off the backside by Satu Sabali. Has elevated her game in a big way this year as a sophomore. Foley off the cut. Rebounded by Washington. Cazorla right on top of Goodman. Basically face guarding her there. Shot clock down to 6. Pivot. Or rather, Goodman should say, draws the foul late in the clock.
So just talking about that two-man game between Ionescu and Hebard, and you've got Sabrina right here, and as she's coming off of this, it's going to be drop coverage, okay? So as we freeze it right here, okay, the post player's depressed and her player's going over the top. That means this whole area is open for her to pull up a jumper, and that's where she gets. Now, it doesn't look that open because of the length, but that's your shooting pocket when you're against that coverage. And she's capable of making that shot, of making that read first, and then make it that shot time after time. She did it on Friday night as well.
And you have to respect it regardless. That's why she finds herself in so many open spots.
You know, a lot of times you'll do that, Adam, for a player that wants to take that three-point shot when they come off that ball screen. You say, hey, you know what, I want to give up the less valuable shot in the mid-range, but Sabrina is efficient really when she crosses half court, so it's a challenge.
Hebard with a nice hook, and that puts Oregon back in front. After Goodman made both free throws at the line. The foul was on Cazorla. Slocum's back in the game running the point along with Pivic and Goodman. So you got 3 capable ball handlers out there. McWilliams, if you want to add her. You got 4 players that can handle the ball. And you got some shooters out there too, including Goodman, the 4th best in the Pac-12. Well, she went scoreless a few games ago against Stanford. Her last 3, she's been on fire. Hebard posting up against Dottie Gilden. Beg your pardon, against Patricia Morris.
Guys, talking about Aaliyah Goodman, she should be really comfortable in this gym. It was in high school. She's won 2 state championships on this court inside Gill Coliseum. In fact, her senior year, her final game in high school was right here in this court, and she had some Oregon State fans coming to cheer her on.
And now Pivic gets into the act, a 45% shooter. The Beavers have their largest lead at 5.
They're playing very confident right now. I love this Oregon State team and how aggressive their guards are being. From Goodman to Pivic, doing an excellent job.
Boy, she is so tough in the post. Ruthie Hebard, the top power forward in the country last year.
And Scott Rueck was confident when he talked to us today, and he should be. He's got a really good team. About if they just cleaned up some mistakes, some self-inflicted mistakes against Oregon, he felt like they could win this game.
Particularly late in the game, he felt those mistakes were made. They tried that pick and roll action and a foul called by Brenda Pantoa in the ensuing scrum.
Okay,
That'll be on Hebard, her first.
They've had a couple poor post-entry passes for Oregon State, and Adam, they've got to get a little more arc on their passes, okay? So you're passing to big targets. Make it a little bit more of a drop pass and get it over that defender that's on the front side and drop it into the breadbasket close to the basket.
Well, Patricia Morris just went off the floor. She's 6'7". Grimmick is back in. She's 6'8". Oregon State has always had a really strong, solidly built post player. You got to take advantage of that size. Slocum putting the moves on the defender and putting it home for her first points. The clock all the way down to 4 for Ionescu, and with a foul to give, Goodman will commit one. It'll be 3.8 to go in the quarter.
That's a smart play. Smart play, he had one to give. First Oregon into a side out of bounds. What a great crowd. I mean, it was loud. The end of the quarter, and Oregon State has done everything they need to do to pull an upset tonight.
Ionescu gets it off. Hebert fires. It will not count, and the Beavers have the 5-point lead in one of the toughest places to play in college basketball after one at Gill.
One life.
Support the K-Yow Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the B Foundation for Cancer Research. Donate at kyow.com. Funds raised will go towards women's cancer research. Of course, we lost K-Yow in January of 2009 after a long 2-decade battle. I mean, it was a battle against breast cancer, and we think about K-Yow today and this week, and certainly a lot of folks are thinking about her tonight. Both uniforms for both clubs drenched in pink. The shoes tonight as well. Awesome to see, and a good atmosphere and a good game so far. Slocum in traffic, got rid of it to Goodman. The Beavers held the Ducks to 15 points in the first quarter. That's the fewest they've scored in a quarter all season. And Goodman is off to a hot start in double figures.
They have disrupted Oregon's rhythm, and it's not as flowy as it normally is on offense for the Ducks. They've done a nice job. Gotten back in transition defense, too. That was a point of emphasis for Oregon State today at shoot-around.
Sabally too strong, and Grimmick has the rebound. Courtney, what'd you hear in that last huddle?
Yeah, Scott Rueck was very pleased with his defense. He congratulated his team on that and said, keep it up. I like what you're doing. The only times we got beat was when Sabrina Ionescu went one-on-one a couple of times. Try to keep her in front of you, but you're doing great.
So much of defending Oregon is keeping them in front of you as much as possible. Trying to post up Grimmick. Good defensive play by Adi Gilden, senior from Spokane, with a heady play. They left Cazorla open for a long two, in and out. Hebert on the deck with Corusdale for the rebound. Slocum in the thick of things, and it will be Oregon ball. Well, the first iteration of this season's Tobacco Road rivalry. Virginia, by the way, won against Virginia Tech, so they're 11-2. Duke is 11-1. UNC is 10-2, so the top spot in the ACC is on the line when Duke and Carolina meet for the first time Wednesday night on ESPN and the ESPN app. Sabally trying to maneuver around Grimmick, couldn't do it. Slocum on the run out, finishes. Hebert into the body of Grimmick, draws the foul.
This is Oregon State basketball at its best. Stifling defense with a big center on the back line to deny, and then off to the races with Slocum adds. Slocum adds a different element this year with the speed and transition. Just a picture-perfect game for the Beavers to start.
I go back to what Courtney said earlier and referring to what Scott Rueck said during shoot-around today. You need to dominate at both ends. I don't know how you evaluate that in 12 minutes, but that play is the type of play that Scott Rueck was hoping for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're playing well. Now, a team like Oregon, that's number 2 in the country, you can't do it for 12 minutes, okay?
Right.
You got to do it for 40. That's how you win those types of games, and that's what they're trying to build into this team that has some youth on it.
Corusdale fires. Bit of a quick shot, but Pivac with the rebound. McWilliams in tight quarters. Can't seem to get a clean post touch for Grimmett. Slocum, step back. And Sabally flies in for the rebound. Taylor Chavez, the true freshman from Arizona, is on the floor with the Ducks. Ionescu goes backdoor for Boley, who's blocked by Grimmett. Beavers have led by as many as 9. Slocum trying to use the screen, has to try to rescue it sliding, and went over and back.
Is this intense or what, man?
Awesome.
This is great. Nice play. Ionescu with a great backdoor pass. Boley with the cut, but there's Grimmett on the back line protecting the rim. That's what you want from your center.
And not a huge shot blocker, 24 of them to lead the team this year, but it's not like past post players, Scott Rueck was saying. It's the first year that he doesn't have a true shot blocker, but Grimmick's done a nice job protecting. Ooh, Heber took a spill on that offensive rebound. And she is limping as she gets up.
Looks like she might have landed awkwardly on that. Right there it is.
Yeah.
Might have been a little hyperextension. Does a nice job to keep her focused and get the pass out.
8 points, 3 rebounds already for Heber, who's second in the country in field goal percentage. She comes out, and Lydia Giomi checked in, getting that right knee looked at. Grimmett gets a breather for Oregon State, and Patricia Morris, the freshman at 6'7", is back on. Ionescu. Goodman runs it down. Corusdale covered up by Chavez. Late in the clock, Pivac. Good feed, little pocket pass to Morris. They continue to work on Ruthie Hebert, who is in some discomfort. Being checked out by Kim Terrell, the first-year trainer. Corusdale picks up the Oregon State foul, her second.
Certainly not having her on the floor is a big blow to Oregon, particularly on the glass.
Yep.
And don't have that type of physical player to contend with the size that Oregon State brings at that center position.
Oh, good play. Sabally to the rim. Madison Washington came in for Oregon State. Again, with Hebert off the floor, you're missing 17 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, a decent shot blocker, and a high-efficiency player. Boley nearly stole that one, out of bounds with 17 to shoot. It's a big game for Oregon State. As we told you, Charlie Cream has them sitting in the 4 line right now. They're the number 14 overall seed. If they were to win tonight, they would leapfrog Marquette and South Carolina, the 2 teams in front of them, and that would stick them squarely on the 3 line right now. Shot clock, late. Goodman. And a shot clock violation. But I mean, that seed line could maybe mean the difference between being in Greensboro for a potential Sweet 16 game, or potentially maybe even being in a Portland area, even if you have to play Oregon or Stanford. That could mean a lot going forward.
Well, the main thing I think that Scott Rueck and his staff are concerned about is getting a top 4 seed, like a lot of teams, so that you can host the first, second rounds.
It's going to be huge. They didn't get to host last year. Timeout on the floor.
ESPN's
23-point Notre Dame win against NC State today. ND back up to the top 5 in the AP poll this week. Of course, they're battling for a 1 seed as well. Destiny Slocum knocks down a 3, and Oregon State has its first double-digit lead.
The 3-point shot for Oregon State here in this first half. That's 5 for 9 from beyond the arc.
Sabally picked up a foul before the break. That was her first. Slocum trying to stick with Ionescu. Morris had inside position but couldn't get a grip, and it will be Oregon ball.
So here's what has to happen for Oregon's post players. When the defensive center for Oregon State commits to Ionescu, Giommi has to get on the offensive glass. That's a free run at the glass for a second chance opportunity if the guard misses. It's an easy way to get your team a chance and to score.
Sabally, a tough take. That time Giommi went to the rim. There is a foul call, though, on Giommi. A little too aggressive, but right idea.
That's exactly what needs to happen. If they're going to commit that center to be the ultimate helper, right, the ultimate utility player on the defensive end, then you got to make them pay on the glass by sprinting to it and getting that inside position.
You just saw Mark Campbell, the associate head coach, talking with Ruthie Hebert, still on the bench, has the right knee, which is being tended to, wrapped up. That's who Giommi was in for a moment ago, and now a substitution has Adi Gilden back in. Court.
Oh, yeah, we got an update on Ruthie Hebert. They are icing her knee. They've got it wrapped up. They're going to reevaluate her at halftime, but she will not be back in this quarter.
That's good to note. A turnover here, so the Ducks have to go back on offense without Hebert. And a timeout. We'll step aside as well. Oregon down 10. Those teams have split the last 8 meetings, UNC and Duke. Meanwhile here, the Oregon Ducks have won the last 2. But that was after Oregon State had won 14 straight meetings between these two. And they've won 8 straight here in Corvallis as Sabally is going to go to the line on a Grimmick foul. The Grimmick picks up her second, and Sabally still a little shaken up after that contact. Very good shooter, misses the first. Well, Super Tuesday presented by Boost Mobile, part of Rivalry Week presented by Wendy's. Kentucky and Tennessee played a huge back-and-forth game that Kentucky eventually ran away from Tennessee on Saturday. They're both in action on Tuesday, 7 Eastern and 9 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Sabally splits the pair. She's got 3 points, averaging 18 a game. That's top 10 in the Pac-12. Ionescu's got 6. She's top 5 in the league, averaging nearly 20 a game. Oregon has got no bench help, and they've been held well under their average so far. Slocum taking it all the way for an 11-point lead. Boley pulls up and connects. A much-needed silencer from Boley.
Slocum is so fun to watch. Remember, she had that terrific freshman season at the University of Maryland, transferred, sat out last season, and this year is a integral part to what Oregon State does because of her breakdown ability.
Wow, what a take by Goodman, who's having a monster first half. Look at Ionescu getting after her teammates. Boley short. Rebound by Goodman. Oregon has the longest win streak in the country, 17 in a row. And right now the Beavers have them on their heels. They're shooting under 35%. Remember, they lead the country in field goal percentage. Gilden gets blocked. Oh, cross court. Goodman was looking, trying to find McWilliams. Good interception by Gilden. Cazorla's wide open for a huge three. First points for Maite Cazorla off the Ionescu feed.
So that's a big turn of events, right?
Huge.
I mean, Oregon State has numbers on a fast break opportunity. They're up 11 points with a chance to go up 13 or 14, and Adi Gilden flies in there, and now it's a single-digit deficit.
Oregon hasn't faced a 13-point deficit this year. Post for Washington against Boley. Offensive rebound, and the putback won't go. Cazorla, another look. Nobody there but Boley for the putback.
So what have we seen? Oregon getting some stops, and now we're able to see their pace.
Yeah.
You know, Oregon running in transition with all the shooters spread out. It's so difficult to defend. And what Oregon State had done until the last 3 or 4 possessions, Adam, is they kept Oregon in the half court. They've kept them in the half court, and they were able to build that double-digit lead. Well, off of those misses, Oregon gets to run, and look, it's a long spread you out with Cazorla missing, but then there's no one to box out. Now, Grimmick on the bench with those 2 fouls, that certainly has hurt them defensively. It really has been a masterful execution of game plan for Oregon State for the first half.
Yeah.
You don't want to give it away in the final 2 minutes. You've played well enough to have a double-digit lead.
You see the 6 teams in Charlie Cream's bracketology. Utah, which had been ranked in the top 25 earlier this year, just dropped out. So these are the 6 in line, but Utah is part of that first 4 out group right now. The Ducks on the 1 line, Stanford 2. Again, if Oregon State wins tonight, Charlie Cream would likely put them up to the 3 line. Their best win this year against a good South Carolina team that we just saw, but this would be a monumental win for the resume for Oregon State, especially with the final 2 weekends being a little easier in Pac-12 play and no knowing who you're going to play in the Pac-12 tournament in Vegas. Late in the clock, Slocum sees it. Offensive rebound for Morris. Sabally is trying to pin her in the corner, and Cheryl Flores called the foul. The foul will go on Cazorla, who's the other player in that corner. They changed that? I think rightfully so. Yeah, it is Sabally. So only 1 on Cazorla. That is the 2nd on Satu Sabally. And she has to come out. Chavez comes in. Oregon is going to get Morgan Yeager in the game as well for Boley. Shot clock is off, so the Beavers can hold for the final shot. Chavez out there. That was the last foul to give for the Ducks.
I don't know why they took it so early.
I think you could wait maybe till 6 or 5.
Yeah, you
right?
want to wait till they're in their action and then foul. And now they've got to set up on a short clock, similar to what Oregon State did in that first quarter, right? Fouled with 3.8 seconds left on the side out, and now you force them more into a quick hit action instead of prolonged action. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, plenty of time here. Slocum. Cross court for Pivot. She'll get it off. And the Beavers will have a 6-point lead at the halftime break, trying to make it 9 in a row at home against the Ducks. Fewest points of any half for Oregon, the nation's #1 scoring offense, the most efficient offense in the country, held in check by Scott Rueck's defense. Let's go over to Courtney Lyle with Scott Rueck.
Coach, you held Oregon to its lowest point total in a half at 27. How did your defense do that?
Well, I wish it was a little lower. They got on a nice run there at the end. I thought our defensive intensity was awesome. You know, our positioning was great. We challenged shots. We tried our best to keep Sabrina off balance a little bit. Not easy to do, and I thought we did that a bit. And so I just loved our rebounding as well. I thought we kept them off the board.
Aaliyah Goodman with 15 points. How was she so effective?
Well, she's been doing it all year. I mean, she's a great shooter, a great scorer. She does a nice job of running our offense and creates well for us. She's a tough cover, so she needs to keep it up.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Oregon did score the last 5 of the half, but a 6-point. Go back to the studio. Maria, Nell, and Andy breaking it all down. You're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week presented by Wendy's, all part of the 2019 Play for K, honoring the Kay Yow Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation to bring awareness and support for women's cancer research. A 6-point Beavers lead, trying to get a true signature win on their season here at their house. Adam Amin, Carol Lawson, Courtney Lyle in a moment as well. Oregon's offense, the best in the country, locked down by the Oregon State defense, and a lot of bench help for Oregon State in that first half as well.
Aaliyah Goodman was a difference maker for Oregon State. She helped catapult their three-point shooting in this first half. And when you have this type of firepower coming off your bench, I think it just makes your whole team that much more confident. She got where she wanted to on the floor. She has a quick trigger three-point shot. Drove the ball well, just a huge boost for them coming off the bench. And then Slocum gets into the act. Pivic hasn't gotten into the act yet, but I think Oregon State's set up to have a good second half and potentially pull the upset.
And Courtney, Oregon had 0 bench points in that first half. They're going to need some bench help right now because of an injury.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Adam. We saw Ruthie Hebert go down with that knee injury in the second quarter. I asked Kelly Graves what her status was. He was not sure if she would return to this game. He said they were going to ice the knee and monitor it, but he didn't feel like they would see her again.
And there she is on the bench to start the second half. It is Adi Gilden, who averages about 16 minutes a game. At 6'1", the senior, playing in her 131st career game. She's on the floor. Oregon State trying to put an end to the nation's longest win streak. And Destiny Slocum trying to get her first win against the Oregon Ducks of her career. Faced them in the Sweet 16 at Maryland 2 years ago and lost on Friday night. Number 1 scoring offense, tops in assists per game, tops in three-point shooting, tops in field goal efficiency, held in check to their lowest totals in a first half this year. And Gilden draws a foul on Jo Grimmick. Joanna picks up her 3rd foul, which is huge for Scott Rueck's team.
You give up some size without having Hebert in the lineup. But Gilden's a capable player.
Yeah.
She can score. She's not going to stretch it out normally to the three-point line, but she can attack and is a little bit quicker than Ruthie is, particularly off the dribble. So it'll be interesting to see if Oregon can take the smaller lineup and play it to their advantage on the offensive end and try and create some of that rhythm, that beautiful rhythm we've seen from them all season long on offense.
Morris did come in for Grimmick, who picked up that 3rd foul. Slocum. Pivic trying to split the D. Open is McWilliams. There's Ionescu with a slick rebound. Setting up Boley for 3. There is Gilden on the glass with the rebound and the hook. Oh, it spun off the rim. Out of bounds, it'll stay with the Ducks. There's Hebert up off the bench, cheering on her teammate Gilden, who's playing for her now.
This thing does everything but go down.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible.
Ionescu, the pocket pass to Gilden. Boy, close range, missed it. Remember, you're missing Hebert, who shoots nearly 70% from the floor. Slocum off target, punched by Ionescu. Ionescu against Slocum. And Morris rejoins the play for the defensive rebound. This is one of the best defensive rebounding teams in the country in Oregon State.
Well, that's part of the reason why they're so good defensively. They limit you to one shot.
Something Scott Rueck felt they didn't do very well against Oregon on Friday night. Too many offensive rebounds allowed. Late in the clock again. Pivot keeps the dribble. Tough shot, and she got it to go.
That was excellent defense from Maite Cazorla.
Yeah.
And just better offense from Pivot.
Having a career offensive year as a junior. Oh, what a take by Sabally, and she puts it in. What a response. Morris picks up the foul.
What we've seen tonight has been in stark contrast to what we've seen from Oregon all year offensively, and give all the credit to Oregon State. But you just don't feel comfortable if you're Oregon State, because you know that the firepower's there. And Sabally has had a terrific sophomore campaign, much improved from her freshman year, more impactful on the defensive end. We saw that beautiful take, the length that she presents, and shooting lights out from beyond the arc.
Last year's Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. Averaged double figures last year. She's averaging 18 a game this year. Has 6 points tonight so far. Back to 6. This was the halftime deficit. Slocum, the breakdown. Or like Steve Nash just weaving through the defense trying to find an opening. Slocum, step back, over Sabally. Knew she missed it from the start and got her own miss. Pivot on the reverse, but stepped on the baseline, out of bounds.
Save her stepping out. Man, that was right on the outside.
Wow, that is really close.
That's a good eye. Painting the corners over there.
Yeah. Brenda Pantoa on that baseline. She's our lead official. Boley, nice take. Erin Boley connects. Down to a 4-point game.
I think Boley's played well tonight. Defensively, she's been solid. And then offensively, we've seen a pull-up jumper off the bounce and then the post-up. Again, we're used to seeing mostly catch and shoot from Boley, but she's been able to diversify her offense a little bit tonight.
Washington got it out to Pivot. Challenged by Chavez, but finished anyway. Michaela Pivot, who went over 1,000 points for her career with her performance on Friday night. That's the most dribbles Boley's had all night. 3 right there. Ionescu. Chavez muscling it up against Corusdale. Loose ball. Ionescu on the deck. Somehow saved it to Boley. Bodies all over the floor in this one tonight. Ionescu with a very tough scoop, defended by Washington. Here come the Beavers. Pivot, Corusdale. Washington picks up the foul, which silences a frenzied crowd here in Corvallis. She'll come out, and Aaliyah Goodman will check back in after 15 points in the first half. Sabally muscling through Corusdale, and a chance at a 3-point play.
Well, at some point, someone needs to take ownership and say, you know what, I'm going to go get a bucket, because what we're doing on the offensive end, we're struggling right now. And that's what Satu has done here in the third quarter. She's put her head down, she's attacked, she's used her superior quickness to get herself to the line. It's 2 really good, strong drives through contact to finish.
Berlin, Germany native, born in New York City. Family moved to Gambia at age 2. Moved to Berlin at age 7. Fluent in German. Her mom Heike is German. Her dad Jera is from Gambia. Her younger sister Nyara is going to be a redshirt freshman next year. She's got a knee injury, so not playing this season. We got a whistle and a foul. A timeout on the floor and a 5-point game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Papa John's. Large Philly cheesesteak pizza, just $12.
Oregon State on top of Oregon 41-36. Well, this week in practice, Justin Matsu has been pretending to be Sabrina Ionescu. He's one of their Oregon State's practice players. He started with the team back in November, says he really enjoy it. I don't think he realized that 3 months later he was going to be pretending to be Ionescu. But I asked him, how did you get this team ready, making sure you were portraying her accurately? He said, I watched film on her. She's really good off of ball screens. And then Friday, she had a lot of success in the pick and roll. So this weekend, I tried to make sure I put that into my game for the scout team.
Great stuff there, Courtney. And obviously, they've defended her well so far. A rough shooting night and only 6 points after she had gone over 27 each of the last 3.
How great is that? I mean, you've got the scout team watching film and then trying to input tendencies into their game.
Forestdale misses the 3. Long rebound to McWilliams. Shot clock did not reset, but Brenda Pantoa with a whistle. I wonder if maybe Scott Rueck was saying it did touch the rim on the backside. And I think that's exactly what they're going to look at now. So Brenda Pantoa goes over there. Didn't look like it on that angle. Overshot it. Maybe grazed it there. Is there a change of direction? And there's the direction. I think that comes from the bottom of the backboard. And the call on the floor is no reset of the shot clock.
I can't tell.
And again, if it's in dispute, as it is now, it's seemingly you call on the floor, it'll be side out of bounds with 8 on the shot clock. I think that change of direction came off the bottom of the backboard.
That's the best angle right there, don't you think?
I think so too, and I can't tell 100% certainly that it grazed the rim.
I think
it's
it
so
does.
close.
I think it does.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks like it there when you slow it down that much. That is very tough, and it's a matter of 20 seconds here. See, the ball's still kind of rotating the same way. It doesn't seem to change the rotation when it may have grazed the rim. The change in direction comes on the backboard, so they'll stick with 8 on the shot clock. Pivot taking it strong with the left into Sabally, and they cash in on those final 8.
Now, Pivot gained such confidence from a season ago. She had to play the point guard position, had not played it
since 7th grade. She hadn't played it.
And it was a challenge for her in the beginning, but she was able to handle it capably as Ionescu gets on the board again. And I think that's made her a better wing player this season. Because when you have all the responsibility as a point guard, and now all of a sudden it shifts to the wing, she can make plays off the dribble, and she's got a better understanding of the totality of the offense.
And I think it works in really good concert with what Slocum's brought to the table this year. Although forced a bad pass there. 5-point game. Can Ionescu get going? Just had her first points of the second half. Sabally stepping over and sinking a 3. Satou Sabally with a big third quarter to keep the Ducks going. She's got 9 of her 12 here in the third. Boley on the switch, guarding Goodman. And a foul.
Going super small has been the right mix for Oregon in this third quarter to get some semblance of offense going. And without the services of Ruthie Hebard after halftime, and they're more versatile without her, meaning all 5 players on the court right now can knock down the 3-point shot.
Oregon locks in on the defensive end. They force a 5-second violation. And suddenly Scott Ruick's team, which is led by as many as 11 in this game, has seen Oregon climb all the way back in with a chance to tie it or take the lead. Ionescu, too strong. Beavers have numbers. Slocum all the way in. Slocum stems the tie for State.
Counterattack for Oregon State's been really good tonight. After misses, they're pushing it and getting some freebies.
Ionescu taking it to the rim. She's into double figures.
Picking on Corsdale a little bit defensively, right? Getting the switch and then picking on her.
Slocum picked up the dribble in a tough spot. Corsdale muscling up against Boley. And they're going to call, let's see here. I'm going to say foul on Boley, so back-to-back fouls on Aaron, her second. Almost looked like for a second they were going to think about calling a jump ball there. I thought that was the right call, though. And Slocum stepped on the baseline. Second time that the Beavers have turned it over trying to run the baseline. This one a little more definitive.
Nice job by Chavez on that play. Take the challenge one-on-one, force her to the baseline, force her to step out of bounds.
That's why Chavez is out there. Really good defense off the bench. This time she rescued Sabally. Ionescu, step back, long two is good, and Ionescu starting to heat it up. We're back to a tie ball game. First tie since it was 7-up in the first. Goodman. Step back, three. Oh. Got it all! What a shot by Goodman! Oh man, what a game! A rough shooting night for Ionescu. It's been Aaliyah Goodman's night tonight with 18 points off the bench for the Beavers. Goodman draws the Chavez foul and will head to the line.
Chavez right into the end. I thought she got her forearm, the lower part of her arm. Up top, I thought she got ball, but a little bit too physical.
We got a Sonic blockbuster for you. Round 1 of 2 between Carolina and Duke. 9 Eastern on ESPN Wednesday and the ESPN app. Rivalry week presented by Wendy's with the greatest rivalry of them all. Carolina and Duke with first place on the line in the ACC. Slocum getting a breather at the end of the quarter. Welcome to Corvallis, Oregon. Boley knocks down a three. A raucous atmosphere here tonight for this Civil War. Final seconds of the third. Goodman fires three. In and out. And a 2-point Beavers lead to the fourth. Don't go nowhere. Come on back for a good one.
I play for K because cancer has personally affected my family. My mom fought breast cancer when I was at a young age, and so anyone who's fighting now or has previously fought cancer, I'm playing for you.
Support the KL Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the B Foundation for Cancer Research. Donate at KL.com. Funds raised will go to women's cancer research. Destiny originally from Meridian, Idaho, originally committed to Washington before heading to Maryland. Opted to transfer out, come to Oregon State, a little closer to home, a little closer to family, and a better fit for her. And she's looking for her first true signature win in an Oregon State uniform. Chavez fires a three to start the fourth. And a good save by Goodman, who's had the high number tonight for Oregon State with 20 points, so they're 50. Adam Amin, Carol Lawson, Courtney Lyle, all on hand here at Guild Coliseum. Two programs that have really started to put themselves on the map the last few years especially. Right back into the national conversation. Deep three by Goodman, rebounded by Sabally. She sets up Maite Cazorla. Pivic into traffic. McWilliams covered up by Ionescu. Every possession has a little tension in it. I imagine that's only going to rise as we go further. Goodman needs help. He slings it away. Well, great atmosphere tonight. Where you at, Courtney Lyle?
Guys, it looks great from down there. Up here, things are great too. This is one of the only places you can find a seat inside Guild Coliseum. It is an official sellout. 9,301 people. That means that both of these games between Oregon and Oregon State have been sellouts. Now, I asked Destiny Slocum about that, what it was like for Civil War Week, and she told me it's amazing to see this many people coming for a women's basketball game. Not because it's fun to play in front of 9,000 people, but because it's going to help the game. She wants to grow the game. And I don't know if I've ever had a student athlete talk to me about growing the game.
I mean, those numbers speak for themselves. Only the second ever sellout at MKA on Friday. First sellout this year here tonight. 1,200 of those 9,300 tonight are students. That's a record, too. Ionescu with the first points of the fourth quarter. And it's going to go back to Oregon. Good hustle by Chavez, battling with McWilliams.
She's done a nice job, Chavez has.
Yeah.
Take a look at this great crowd.
Awesome.
I mean, they get into it. I mean, this is as involved as a crowd. That might sound funny to people, like involved as a crowd. Like, they go nonstop here.
Yeah.
In terms of cheering for their team.
Speaking of Chavez, Ionescu saves it in the corner. Oh, and an offensive foul as she shouldered Pivic out of the way.
Dips her shoulder in. Pivic does a nice job of selling it.
Yeah, a little bit of a clear out there by Ionescu. Only 2 turnovers for Oregon, though. They had just 3 on Friday. Pivic. Good defense by Cazorla. Good job to find Corusdale. Grimmick tipped it, but here come the Ducks, looking for the lead. Haven't had one since the first quarter. And again, another possession with some magnified importance, it feels like right now. Looking for the 6'8" Grimmick. Sabally came from the backside and committed the foul, her third.
This is a pinpoint pass by Slocum to where only Grimmick can get it. And I agree with the call on the floor because she had not gathered yet to go up for her shot. It's not a bad foul, actually, by Sabally.
Oh, Pivic dribbled it off of her foot and rescued it. McWilliams forced it into traffic for Corusdale and out of bounds. Well, you're watching the Pac-12 on ESPN. Two of the top 3 teams in the Pac-12 squaring off tonight. Beavers with a loss tonight are eliminated from Pac-12 regular season championship contention. A win for the Ducks tonight gives them a big lead with 4 games left. And Ionescu is getting going as she gives the Ducks their first lead since 7-4. And a timeout used here by Scott Rueck. Ionescu's fired up. She's got 16, 10 of them here in the second half with no Hebert.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's new Made to Crave menu, available at participating restaurants now.
This is the best rivalry in all of sports.
Every season, the historic rivalry resets.
Hold up, let me get up in it now.
Number 8, North Carolina. Number 1, Duke. Wednesday at 9 on ESPN.
Looking forward to that one on Wednesday. Sellout crowd expected there. Sellout crowd here tonight at Gill Coliseum. Oregon has its first lead since the first quarter. They've led by as many as 5, and Sabrina Ionescu starting to put together a big second half with her running mate Ruthie Hebert on the bench. Oregon State on a play for K-Night wearing the pink uniforms, Oregon in white. Slocum. Pivot got caught, found Destiny for 3. Off the front rim, and Ionescu the rebound. There is Hebert, who's been out since that second quarter knee injury. Ionescu fires it. A little short. Remember, she hit the 3 to force overtime here in Corvallis last year. .520 to go on Friday. It was 64-60 Oregon. 5:20 tonight, it's 52-50. How about the miss? A rare fundamental miss by Sabrina Ionescu. There may have been a little contact from Slocum on the run, but it looked like she had gathered herself pretty cleanly for the layup. Goodman for 3 and the lead. Take a breath. Just every possession feels like a monster one.
And each one feels bigger than the one before it.
Ionescu. Rebounded by Goodman. Pivic on the move. Oh, out of control, and somehow put it down to tie the game. Chavez missed a 3, rebounded by McWilliams. If Oregon State wins this game, remember that shot by Michaela Pivic. And the missed layup on the previous possession by Ionescu. Slocum in trouble. Goodman, deep 3. Foley nearly had the rebound, but Pivic hustled it and stole it away. Pick and roll, Grimmett had it stripped away by Maite Cazorla.
What great help defense by Cazorla.
That's about a 10-inch height difference. Out of bounds, and that'll take us to a timeout. 3:14 to go, back and forth. How about this help side? 6'8" against 5'10". 5'10" one out.
Sabrina Ionescu, the All-American, one of the leading candidates for National Player of the Year. It's been an up and down affair for her offensively in terms of efficiency, but she's gotten a little loose here in the second half. How about this miss, though? Something that we're not used to seeing from her in a clutch moment. And you can bet that the ball is going to be in her hands down the stretch.
You see Dan, her father. It's going to be decision time for Sabrina after this season. She's only a junior, but she's eligible to go to the WNBA draft. She and Kelly Graves have already had conversations about it. That's going to be a big decision soon. Right now, a tight one. Boley gets blocked by Goodman, but still, the Ducks with the ball. Ionescu has to force it up to beat the shot clock. Sabally the rebound, but a foul on Oregon. On Sabally, her fourth.
Shot clock going down, and there you see the forearm, the left forearm from Satu, clearing Grimick out.
She's out there playing with four. McWilliams, Grimick, Slocum, Goodman, and Pivot, the five out there.
And Boley's done yeoman's work down there on the block, battling Grimick.
Slocum with the shot clock at 6. Pulling up and connecting for the lead.
What they were missing a season ago is someone that could go get a bucket on anybody. Anybody. And that's what Slocum gives Oregon State.
Gives them a 2-point lead with 2:20 to go. Sabally behind the Chavez screen. Missed a three, and Pivot flies in for the board.
Three-point shooting tonight. A lot of their shots have gone begging. This is a terrific team percentage-wise from beyond the arc, but have not shot it well.
Slocum for three. Got it! Getting buckets. That's what Destiny Slocum has brought to this Beaver offense in any spot.
Oh, this three-pointer closes a second or a 7-0 run. And where is that vulnerable spot sometimes against that zone is that deep corner. And Oregon State has multiple players that can knock that down. That's just a one-pass. That's a one-pass possession. And Destiny Slocum is able to help this team get this 5-point separation. This has been awesome.
Awesome night here at Gill Coliseum. Adam, Kara, Courtney. Remember, these are two programs that have been solid in the past, but only in the last 4 or 5 years have they really rejoined the national conversation. You've always said it takes a win, a signature win, to make a team believe that they can win a national title. I imagine if Oregon State wins this one, this is the game that they can look back on and truly believe that they can make a run.
Oh, Oregon has played as good as anybody. You could say they've been the best team in the country for the last few weeks. So absolutely, to get a win like this for Oregon State in a rivalry game would do a lot for their confidence. It would do a lot for their chances to host the first and second rounds right here with this devastating home court advantage.
And Ionescu off target. 8 of 23 from the floor tonight. The Beavers lead by 5 with less than 90 ticks on the clock. McWilliams stepping up. Short. Big possession for the Ducks.
Well, they have closed down Boley's shooting windows in transition perfectly.
Chavez, the freshman. Oh, she delivers a three. Her first points of the night. And the first field goal from the Oregon bench all night.
Yeah, you got to do that. I mean, Taylor, you got to tell him, put some respect on my name. You're leaving me open there in the corner. You've got to let it fly with the possessions going down in the game.
Grimick gets a touch and scores. It's a 4-point game. They got to check the clock here. I think Brenda Pantoa was pointing at the clock. They want to make sure that both shot clock and game clock are at the proper time and that they're running. And they put 3/10 back on. In a game like this one, tenths of a second matter. It is a foul here against Slocum. Picks up her second. 17-game win streak is the longest in the country right now. Oregon State's won 8 straight at home against the Ducks. Seeding, potential Pac-12 regular season championship on the line. Big take by Cazorla, 34.2 left in a 2-point game.
And does it in a timely fashion so that Oregon can get the ball back. If they get a stop, call a timeout and advance.
They need a stop here. There's the blitz on Goodman. And a jump ball. The possession arrow keeps it with Oregon State here. But that does flip the arrow, so another tie-up will give Oregon the ball back.
That surprise trap from Oregon.
Yeah.
Great strategy.
And they do have a foul to give in this situation as well. So they can be aggressive on defense. Brenda Pantoa talking with Scott Rueck about something here. They're going to charge Oregon State with a timeout. They have 2 left. Not sure what Scott may have been asking Brenda about in that scenario, but again, foul to give here, 2.9 difference as well, so it's not a ton of time. How do you play this? Because it's a slim margin right now.
Well, you got a decision to make, whether you're going to foul or you're going to just try and get the stop and then call timeout advance with a 2.9 differential. And so I don't know which way Kelly Graves is going to go with this. If he doesn't feel like he has enough time, if there's a miss, to get a quality shot off.
Right.
And so I think what you go for here is to try to get a 5-second call. I mean, that's your first thing, right?
Already done that once tonight.
5-second call. If you can't get that, you try to get an early trap and see if you can manufacture a turnover, and then you don't have to worry about fouling. That's why it's face guarding all the way around for all the Oregon team.
Oh, good job by Goodman to get free. And there's the last foul to give from Chavez. Now the shot clock is off. 17 seconds remain. So now you do have to foul. You can still go for the steal, but you got to get a foul.
You got to foul.
It comes into McWilliams. And Ionescu will commit the foul. So that's going to send Katie McWilliams, an 84% shooter on a somewhat limited sample size this year, to the foul stripe. 2 shots here. Senior from Salem, Oregon, 130th career game.
Oh, that was free and easy.
Yeah.
Great confidence.
Got them both. And a timeout by Kelly Graves. They'll advance the ball, but the Beavers have a 4-point lead with 14.4 to play. You don't necessarily need a 3 yet. It would be nice. You don't need one. Where are you going?
I'm going to Ionescu.
I was going to say, it was a pretty easy, that's a softball if you've ever had one, my friend.
But did I knock it out of the park? Did I knock the softball out of the park?
I think that's what we were looking for. That being said, I'm almost more curious how you play it if you're Oregon State, because you know where the ball's going.
Yeah, sure. You know where it's going, and you know, I think you don't have to take the 3. We saw Cazorla make the nice read and go to the basket, and you can put the pressure on Oregon State again at the free throw line. They have so many 3-point shooters.
Yeah.
Oregon does. So you find the open player, and whether it's Boley, whether it's Sabali, whoever it is, you give them a good shot. But yeah, you can understand with the 3 Ionescu hit in Gale Coliseum last year, it's going to be well defended, I think, by Scott Rueck to not give Sabrina an open look.
Remember, 2 fouls to give for the Beavers if they want to use them. Ionescu. Oh, out of control and somehow finished it. 2-point game. 10 seconds left. One more timeout left for the Beavers if they want to use it.
Turn and goes right to the basket. And does a great job of utilizing her pivot foot and scooping it into the lane. And now the pressure goes back on to Oregon State.
Yep.
Want to get the ball in. 2 to not turn it over, and then 3 to make your free throws if you execute those first 2.
Not a very efficient night for Ionescu. She has not made a 3 tonight as well. She's 0 for 5. That being said, 2-point game again. Adam, Kara, Courtney with you for Oregon as well. This doesn't knock them off the one line if they lose this game. That's why we're kind of building this towards Oregon State. There's so much on the line to try to solidify your resume going forward. Oregon's got a great resume already, and the long win streak and all that. This feels like almost a must-win for Oregon State just to solidify themselves.
Yeah, it gives them a signature win, certainly. And teams that are on that line of maybe being able to host the first, second rounds, this would be a difference maker for a team like Oregon State.
Remember last year they had to go to Knoxville, had to win
both.
twice,
Yep.
and then travel back, then travel again to Lexington. So they had that great win against Baylor in the Sweet 16, but it almost felt like it ran out of gas a little bit. You're going into a tough environment. Those first 2 games, if you get to host them, man, that makes your body feel different in those second and maybe even third weekends.
Well, it gives you a better chance to have a deep tournament run, certainly, from the geography standpoint. But let's not act like there's not something on the line for Oregon as well. I mean, a Pac-12 regular season championship, chance to get that magic number down to 1. And then also for them, they want to be the 1 seed in Portland from a geographical standpoint.
Absolutely. Well, the foul is committed. That's going to send Goodman to the line. She's 93% on the year coming into tonight. Chavez commits her 4th. You make both here, you can almost ice the game. Goodman had the big first half off the bench with 15. And Cooley sinks both to go back up for 22 for Goodman tonight. The Ducks use their final timeout with 9.4 to play.
So if you're Oregon State, you didn't utilize the fouls to give that you had on the last possession. Ionescu gets the layup. I would anticipate they try to do that here. Now, to combat that, if you're Oregon, you're down 2 possessions. So I'm drawing up a play, if I'm Kelly Graves, for a quick trigger 3 off of the pass.
Sure.
Should Oregon State choose to try to foul me there with the foul to give, I might get 3 free throws out of it. The other thing is, you have to come back the other way, and you want to save as much time as you can. So I'm drawing up a quick hitter if I'm Oregon.
And tonight, after Big Monday on ESPN with K-State and West Virginia, Bucci and Levy have SportsCenter. Jay Billis on the big concern for Virginia as they battle for an ACC championship. Rachel Nichols talks with James Harden, one of the, I would say, top 3 candidates for MVP so far this year. And Mel Kiper on Kyler Murray's rising stock as a quarterback in the mock draft. It's all coming up on SportsCenter over on ESPN tonight. A great doubleheader. NC State going into Reynolds. Impressive second half. Big win here.
Notre Dame going into Reynolds.
Oh, Notre Dame, beg your pardon. Yep, going into Reynolds to beat NC State by 23 behind Arike Ogunbowale in that big second half. Here, Oregon has been without Ruthie Hebert since the second quarter, battling with the Beavers with some clutch buckets with a 4-point lead late.
Yeah, that's a good reset, Adam, because Ruthie Hebert's such a key cog to what they do. They've played this entire second half without her.
Chavez to inbound. Ionescu guarded by Goodman. They get it to Sabally. Ionescu for 3 is fouled, and it nearly went down. Excellent play drawn up, and you called it, Kara. Goodman had to chase, and they commit the foul for 3 on Ionescu, and only 2+ seconds came off.
Yeah, that's a cardinal sin because she almost made that, okay? It's what you don't want to do as foul, and sometimes it's a challenge when you're trying to get a good contest to not foul the shooter.
2 more coming.
Yeah, just a great play set by Kelly Graves. Coming back over on Ionescu, and oh, man.
87% shooter. Dad Dan looks on. The top point guard in the country, the Nancy Lieberman Award winner last year. National Freshman of the Year a few years back. Preseason National Player of the Year this year. To cut it to 1.
All hands on deck if you're Oregon. No timeouts for Oregon State. You could get a 5-second call.
And for the Ducks, you got a foul now. Slocum bumped by Cazorla. So Slocum at 74% will go to the line. If you're going to foul somebody for Oregon State, good opportunity to foul Slocum on that play.
So Kelly Graves doesn't have a timeout, so he's telling them to play right now, almost like a little 15-second timeout. Say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Sabrina's now passing the message on to her teammates. Now remember, Oregon State still with the foul to give.
That's right.
Okay?
When do you use that if they're on the run? Before they get up court, after half court?
Before they cross half court, I would, yes.
Okay.
Just to make sure they're not in the shooting motion. But not right away.
Right. Let a few seconds come off the clock.
Yes.
One more for Slocum. Ionescu hit the three to forced OT last year. She's got it, and Goodman forces the traveling violation. Goodman rushed her, and Ionescu traveled.
This is the correct call, right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, what a heads-up play by Goodman to run at Ionescu. And a foul with 4.9 remaining.
She was trying to run up to use the foul to give. She wasn't trying to force the travel.
Yeah.
She was trying to run up to use the foul to give. But because Ionescu had her head turned, she surprised her.
Oh, a clutch play. And how about this free throw? Coruscant knocks it down. The Beavers perfect at the line tonight. They can celebrate in Gill again. For the 9th straight time, the Beavers beat the Ducks at Gill, and the longest win streak in the country ends at 17. What a ball game. What a night and a signature win for Scott Rueck and the Beavers. He's with Courtney Lyle.
Coach Rueck, you talked to your team today in shoot-around about being fearless. How did you see them be fearless tonight?
Yeah, I loved it. You know, we're growing up quick. You know, you got a new point guard, you got a new center. This year, there's so many lessons that are new. This is a great Oregon team, and so it's going to demand our best. And I thought we grew up right before our eyes all 80 minutes this weekend.
Aaliyah Goodman with 22 points, and she forces the travel at the end to help you win it. What can you say about her performance?
Aaliyah's a coach on the floor. I mean, she's unbelievable. She's been coaching since she was a freshman in high school, it seemed. I've seen her lead her team. And so, you know, an Oregon kid playing in the Civil War, just playing huge on a big stage. And so can't say I'm surprised a bit and super proud of her.
Coach, you beat the #2 team in the nation in front of a sellout crowd. What does this do for the program that you and your players have built?
Well, this is what we expect. You know, we've been here a while now, you know, and so it's neat that the Pac-12's gone through Oregon the last 4 years and maybe 5 now. This is a fun rivalry to be a part of, and I can't say enough what these people have done for us for years now. I mean, this is our 9th year here running this, and these people support us in a way that's, I mean, it warms the heart. This is my school. I couldn't be more proud.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Oregon born and bred. Scott Rueck, a grad of Oregon State. Didn't play college ball. Started his coaching career when he was a student at Oregon State. Was coaching high school ball.